All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Saving 22 podcast. Today, I figured we'd talk about leaving the military. We did one Should I Join the Military? You can click the link wherever it's at here. Um, Not many people talk about it. The people that are in the military don't really know what to say about it because they're still in the military, so it's hard to find people in the military to talk about it. Talking to people outside of it is a little tough because you're still in. It's hard to find those people. So I'm here to try and give an unbiased opinion. Of course, we all have our biases, but I've been out for 3 years almost now and just have a few things to add. Like I said, there's not much guidance on it. This is the whole point of my channel, is to help people transition out of the military because you can't be in there forever. So I'm here to help. I'm excited to jump into this episode and, well, let's get it going. Welcome to the Saving 22 podcast, a podcast for veterans. I'm your host, Trevor Blazik. Let's get into the episode. All right, so welcome back, everybody. I'm glad to have you here. I've been in my head a lot recently about leaving the military. I didn't have much of a choice. A lot of people know my background, how I got out, but essentially I got scoliosis or had scoliosis, so they had to boot me out medically. The goal was to stay in for 20 years. That was the goal from the get-go, and just kind of had that shattered. So today I kind of wanted to talk about, well, how being out is and how being out without a say. Well, now I found out that if they do press you with medical discharge papers or med board papers, you can tell them no, so that is an option. But I didn't know that, and now I'm out and trying to enjoy the free life, as they call it. So just wanted to start off that I joined because I didn't like the whole corporate thing, the whole college thing, the whole normal life thing. It all just seemed fake and boring and annoying. And now that I'm out at age 27, it is still fake, annoying, and boring. There's a whole language you have to learn for getting a job, going through corporate and finding a job. And it's just not something I care about. Now I completely understand the state of the U.S. and how we've fall down the woke sides and the political sides and the DEIs and all that nonsense because people really don't want to go look for a job again because it sucks. You have to go in. Every application I put in, I'm competing with 35 other people. If I get picked for the interview, I go in and now it's just like a fake sit down talk about kind of about me, but I have to fake everything. I have to translate all my military experience into civilian experience, and they probably don't believe me. I don't know if that's true or not, but if I had to guess, they probably don't believe me. But on the other hand, it could be seen as impressive. If I were to advise anyone on whether or not they should leave the military, my advice would be if you enjoy it, stay. If you don't want to work corporate, stay. If you don't want to go to college, stay. I know college has become a thing in the military now for promotion points. Do it while you're in. Way better. Do it online. Stay in and do that, because if you're going from this fast-paced military environment and then you have to get out and go to school full-time, I'm going to tell you right now, it is obnoxiously boring. There's not much going on. I'm learning kind of about not real stuff that doesn't really matter because I've seen war and I've been a participant in war. So it doesn't really matter to me what X plus B equals, if that makes sense. Now, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy learning about, like, I'm in philosophy and religion. That is a blast. But all in all, like, to get a degree, you kind of have to go to a master's to have your degree valued, really, it seems like. The whole college system is more of a scam than the military, if I'm telling you right now. So if you can go to AMU in the military, do it. Cybersecurity people, WGU, I think it's Western Governors University. You can hit up there. I believe Syracuse has some free classes online that you could take as well. But if you're going to leave, I would be extremely cautious. Know what you're getting into next, and understand that although life sucks in the military, it does kind of suck everywhere, and that's why the suicide numbers are through the roof with the veterans, because when you get out, it just kind of sucks. Like, there's not much going on. There's not much new going on every day. If you can find a job immediately, that's what I suggest. There is SkillBridge as well for those who do not know. If you're looking for a job in a specific field or even your field and trying to get your foot in the door, you can look up companies, mainly defense contractors. It's called SkillBridge. You can apply, and it's basically an internship type deal while you're finishing your contract. So if you're on terminal leave or something like that, I believe it's 180 days within the end of your contract. You could internship somewhere and then hopefully go right into that when you're out. I have talked to many people, many veterans outside. I've got buddies. I've got normal people because I do this podcast, so I just run into veterans. Typically, I do not hear people saying they're glad they got out. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm not necessarily glad I got out. I wish I could have stayed in or would have stayed in. So I'm actually happy I got out, but I don't run into anybody that's like, dude, I'm so happy to be out. If that somebody is, if I do run into that somebody, they've figured out what they wanted to do, like I was just saying. So they didn't spend time going to school or anything like that. They found their path, or their path was in the military. That, I don't know, if they were in cyber in the military, now they're out doing cyber in the civilian world. If that's your path, take it. You'll make more money out. It's not drastically different, though. I will say that. You still wake up. You still go to work. It's the same thing as being in the military. Just now you may have a couple more days off. You don't have to roam around going from state to state, having to move for the military. So that's nice. However, in my opinion, I think the moving around state to state and all that is fantastic. I loved it. I don't know if anyone else did. I don't know. I loved being able to just hop from town to town, go in, have a job, not be worried about all the extra nonsense of finding a job, really moving everything. The Army moves everything for you. So it's just, I enjoyed that aspect. If you don't enjoy that aspect and you're sick of moving, good, get out, find a path you want to go in. Like I said, follow the path that you had in the military, use your skills there. But if you don't have that path, I would suggest switching jobs in the military. Change your MOS in the military. Get into the new field you think you want to get into, and just keep doing that. Every reenlistment you have, you can keep switching jobs. You don't have to stay the same job. I know where I was at, there was a bunch of people switching from engines to hydraulics to normal maintenance to flight maintenance. Like, it's just, you can constantly switch your jobs, and people kind of forget about that because you get trapped into the military. Next, I would say go to all the schools you can before you get out. If you're like me, you avoided the schools because then you had to get all your gear together. You had to do the packing list. You had to put your packet in. You had to get accepted, and it was just kind of a long kind of mess. And you didn't want to leave home. Sometimes, like, go overseas, come back. Now I got to go to school, come back. Like, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But I would suggest before you get out, go to every school you can. Go to Airborne, go to Air Assault, go do all the hard stuff, because when you get out, you will miss being able to just pick up a school, go there, and have a good time. Or struggle with some dudes, have a good time struggling with the fellas. So the camaraderie is missed immediately when you get out. I'm just kind of going on tangents here. The camaraderie's gone. You don't find it really anywhere. The veterans, if you find a veteran community, which they're kind of few and far between, good ones. I mean, there's some veterans that just go on like motorcycle rides and stuff. And then you have the VA. The VFWs, American Legions. Those are the older veterans. Or it could be just my area. I'm in Florida, so there's a lot of old people here. Every time I go to the VA, I'm the youngest guy, but I digress. That camaraderie isn't really found anywhere else. I would say when you run into a veteran, it's kind of picked up immediately. You're like, what's up, bro? But if you don't run into a veteran, it's gone. When you go to school, it's gone, and you feel like a complete outsider because you've lived life more than all these 18-year-old, 19-year-olds you're running around with. I was just playing on hockey last year for my school. I'm playing with 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and now I'm 27. Been to Iraq and Afghanistan. It's just kind of like a weird thing. There are some that look up to you, and then there are some that are just completely clueless, completely zoned in on TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram that nothing matters. But all of this nonsense is also in the military, except you have a job. You can go on leave. You're a stable income. There's not many jobs that are stable income outside unless you have like a degree or some certification or you need a career. Pick your career, because a lot of veterans end up taking their own life because their life isn't stable. They don't have a stable job. They don't have a stable home. They don't have much. Like, they're getting their disability check, if that, and then they're just just trying to make it. That's just what it is. You're just constantly trying to make it. In the military, your survival instincts and you're constantly trying to make it was typically because you actually had to like survive on the battlefield or whatever it was. Don't crash the helicopter, whatever it was. And now you come back and you're running around the civilian world just going to school, and it just is a constant, like, it's a boring surviving. Like, I got to do all this mundane nonsense in order to continue living in a house or renting an apartment that costs $2,600 a month. Like, I don't know. It's a mess. The military takes care of you extremely well. I would suggest it to anybody, and people will bring up the president situation, the war situation, all of that. I would still advise anybody to go into the military because they have it set up for you. If you don't like the corporate life, this is the only other option. You go to trade school. From what I understand, like, going to be a plumber isn't as corporate, and obviously not as as like preppy, so it will be different. But I don't know, man. I've been thinking a lot about it. I don't necessarily like the civilian world. I think for the most part, the military fits you as a person if you've already joined, and by what you hear from the people around you and your internal feelings whether or not you should get out. But if you're on the edge, the chances are you should be staying in. And I love America. I hate the politicians. I hate the government. But they'll take care of you. You will get a paycheck. You will get leave. You will get PTO, if that's what you want to call it. You will get family time for the most part. Yeah, you'll deploy and come back, but they pay you for the deployment. Like, it's just, there's an obnoxious amount of benefits, and really, like, people say, oh, the 20 years isn't too bad. 20 years is bad. Like, it's your whole developed life, like the middle of your life. But by the time you're out, you'll hit the same point as all the other 40-year-olds hit, or maybe 50-year-olds hit, where you're ready to kind of change careers anyways and kind of own your own business anyways. So you may as well stay. That's where I'm at. Find a new career, build up money to start a business on my own, to be able to live how I want to live and finally gain the freedom. I think that freedom, believe it or not, is given to you by the military more so than anywhere else that you can find. We are actually going to turn to our sponsor real quick, Honor Guard Coffee. No, we're not. I got these new buttons, and it's not working. This episode is sponsored by Honor Guard Coffee. Steven, the owner, came on our show. The link will be down below. He's an incredible man. He was a Marine vet, faced a fair bit of suicide ideation himself, so he decided to start a coffee company to help with that. His whole mission is to pair every veteran in need with a service animal, so 25% of the profits are donated to doing so. I don't have a service animal. I have two great buddies with service animals, and they help them tremendously with everything they've witnessed and been through within the military. So I support Steven's mission. He supports ours. We align so well that I just had to get him on, had to have him as a sponsor. Each different coffee bean is a different service animal that actually served. So I think that's just a pretty neat thing to be doing. Everybody loves dogs. I love dogs. Everybody loves dogs. And to pair that with saving veteran lives and coffee, I am extremely thankful to have Steven as a sponsor and Honor Guard Coffee as a sponsor. So go ahead and check out the link below. Get yourself some Honor Guard Coffee, honorguardcoffee.com. We appreciate your support, and let's move back to the episode, back to the mission of Saving 22. All right, welcome back. So I'm going to go through a few careers that I think are good for getting out and what you should do. I'm going to do a whole nother video on this because I feel like it deserves its own, and I feel like veterans need to know what careers, because that was my problem, is searching for 3 years trying to figure out a career. Now I've officially decided on IT and cybersecurity, but looking for that career took me 3 years because you're open to anything. You go to college for anything; they pay for your college. A lot of trade schools the VA will also pay for. So I'll do a whole nother career video on how to get that all set up at some point in the future. But just for now, going to go through a couple. Number one, I would say police officer. If you like the grinding, you don't mind being away from home, you're cool with some long hours. There's a lot of mobility within for your job placement. You can go up, you can go to different departments, you can move up the departments, all of that. You get the camaraderie, you get the embracing the suck feeling, and you get the purpose. You feel like you're serving your community again in the country. So I think that is probably number one if you're willing to do it. Number two, I would say any trade school. If you can go be an electrician or a plumber, or you like that type of aspect of things, roofer, um, underwater welding. There's a lot of schools, mechanic, any type of mechanic. There's a lot of schools that will receive or accept your GI Bill benefits for you. You get paid to go for your housing and all of that fun stuff. So I would suggest that apprenticeship within that as well. A lot of them like to see the military man come in and help them out. Number three, laid back and chilling, cyber IT. A lot of Air Force people are in cyber and IT, so I'm sure they know to get out and do it. But really, any person in the military has the experience to get into cybersecurity and IT. There are a lot of resources out there for veterans to use. And again, I'll do another career video later on to plug in all those resources and everything. But something to look into: cyber security and information technology. Number four, own your own business. A lot of veterans know how to kind of be disciplined and take care of themselves and lead people. So the older veterans, the people that were in probably 10 to 15 years, somehow, some reason got out. Best option is probably start a business. That's if you got your disability, maybe your wife works, so you don't have to work, something like that, and you could start your own business. That's where I see a lot of veterans succeed. Maybe that's because of the circles I'm in, because of this podcast and what I want to do in the future. But for the most part, I think number four would be to start your own business. Number five, I'm not sure I have a number five. To be honest, I don't think. I guess it would be go to college. Go to college, maybe become a professor, use your GI Bill, use Voc Rehab to move up the chain. Like I said, though, college is boring. So I'm doing college and IT just because it really is that boring, and you have to wait a long time. If I want a doctorate, it's going to be like 4 or 5 more years. And that's just a very long time to wait. I'm not a waiting man. Sit in the Army and wait all the time. Hurry up and wait. Just kind of sick of that. So that's why I would put it as the last option. Sorry, there's no list on the screen. Maybe I'll throw one on there. But those are the top 5. And I think that just about covers it all. Short episode today. I do have to head to school here soon. Religious studies. It is fun. It's thought-provoking, but I will tell you that chances are you will be thinking on your own. You will be in your own viewpoint circle. There will be very few people that understand the world you do. You have to think, excuse me, you have to think about how many people get out of their parents and just go straight to college. So they really have no life experience other than college. And that's just, oh, my loans or my parents pay for my apartment. I drink on pretty much every day, or I smoke every day, and I just kind of hang out because they can, and it's provided for them. Some of them work maybe, but you do think on your own. You are in your own circle. Not many people understand. My teachers have a hard time understanding it too, because they did the same thing, got out their parents, went to college, got a doctorate, and now they're here, and they're teaching you. And I mean, some teachers have been younger than me, some way older than me. The best ones seem to be like 30s to 40s. If that matters to you. Uh, but it is a nuisance. The homework you feel like is worthless, just like doing a silly inventory on a Monday morning or whatever it is. But or I don't know, it's like a detail almost. Like it's that mentality I have towards my homework is having to do a detail in order to get my degree, in order to get a job in the corporate career field, and where I have to talk fake until I make it, which is fine. It's just a whole nother game you got to play. And honestly, I would stick to the game. I would stick to the military as long as you can. Get out, get your retirement, get your disability, have your life paid for the most part, and then choose what you want to do. Take your time and choose. I mean, I've had my life sort of paid for, disability and GI Bill. GI Bill's kind of a scam. I covered that in my last video. They do pay you, but prorated. You don't get it for the whole year. So if you get an apartment complex and you're out of school July and June, you're going to have to figure out where you get your money from because you're not in school, or maybe you are, maybe go to summer school and whatever. You'll get paid just a little more prorated. But yep, that is, and sometimes GI Bill takes a while for the school to process it. So if mine takes a month to process, I just won't be able to pay rent. That's another stress that a lot of veterans have, and that's why they end up taking their lives. It really is this simple, but people complicate it because they need a job or whatever. So that's the advice I have. Of course, I am open to DMs or comments or subscribes, all that fun stuff. Please hit me up if you need me. I am an open book. I love to help. If you need help choosing a career, I would love to help you choose a career. I think I have a pretty good understanding of all the careers you can choose after getting out of the Army or out of the military. And yeah, that's about it. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Sorry this is a shorter video. I look forward to seeing y'all again, talking again, trying to figure it out. These buttons. I'd like to stream a little more, play a few games and stream a bit, so I will leave my Twitch down below for people to join me. I don't know, I play a couple games here and there, Binding of Isaac, Rocket League, some new ones that my brother ends up finding, but typically I'm hanging out playing with him or hanging out playing with my buddy. Yeah, and that's it. I look forward to talking to y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a rating if you could. That will be in the description below. That helps me reach other people. Everybody knows when you see a rating, 1,000 ratings on a podcast, you're likely to listen to it over the one that has 5 ratings. So please help me out. Send that link to your family if you could, to your buddies in the military, your veteran friends. Please, everybody, leave a rating. Help future veterans out. Help me out if you could. And yeah, we'll talk soon. See ya.